This is a grade 2 clipper guard. This is not a grade 2 clipper guard. If you get those two mixed up, you end up with a goatee beard like I've got, and you look like a cross between David Brent and Steve Buscemi. Talking to Steve Buscemi, he was famous for not giving tips in Reservoir Dogs. I'm going to post a link up here to a video where I have given some tips on training and the idea of what it is that makes us go faster. As I said in previous videos, my intention now is to do 2 videos a week. One on a Monday like this one that details the training that I've done and some of the things that are going through my head about my own training, and then later on in the week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, a shorter video just talking about other wider elements to do with triathlon training, swimming, biking, running, those kind of things. So I'm going to break this week down into day-by-day blocks of what's gone on. Obviously on Sunday I had the Exmouth Triathlon, so it was going to be a mixture of intensity and also just kind of getting back into some easy running and stuff like that. Whereas on the Monday I was supposed to just do 50 kilometres easy, 25, 26 kilometre commute into work and back. Should have been nice and easy just to let the legs turn over. That turned into a 20 kilometre time trial because 5 kilometres into my ride I realised I hadn't taken my trainers to work and that I'd need to go and buy some when I got into town. So that was an unnecessary effort that I didn't really feel like doing, putting as much power through the pedals as I could straight after the Exmouth Tri. And then Monday night we had Masters. That was a fairly easy swim session to kind of get back into. I did take it relatively easy and sat out a couple of 50s. So then on Tuesday I just went out and did a nice easy 30-minute run just to kind of get the legs turning over because I had a race on Thursday, which I'll talk about in a minute. So that brings us to Wednesday when I had a complete rest day, did a load of filming for the video that I uploaded last week. And then on Thursday morning I did a 30-minute turbo session, which was just to turn the legs over. There was a little bit of FTP effort in there, but nothing too strenuous, because on Thursday night I had a race called Prom Run. Now, Prom Run runs from September to May. It's in Western Supermare, or Western Sloping Vegas, or Western Super Mud, or whatever we kind of call it locally around here. It's a brilliant race season, one 8-kilometre run every month. It's flat and it's pretty fast, depending on the weather. Sometimes you can be running at 45 degrees, and it's notoriously both loved and hated by people that take part in this series. But what I like about it is the fact that you kind of tend to run it at a 5k pace because it's 8 kilometres. It doesn't feel like it's that much more than 5k, but actually obviously it's nearer 10k. So it's a full-on brutal effort.
Well, that was decidedly hard work. 8k in about 40 minutes, 5-minute Ks. Better than I kind of hoped, I have to say. I thought I was going to fall apart, but yeah, it wasn't easy. But it's done. Prom 1-1. Prom Run 1 done.
At my best I was running it just under 4-minute kilometres, so I've got a long way to go, but hey, that's the process. What I could have done without with though was about halfway through, about kilometre 4, there was a stricken runner who kind of semi-collapsed in one of the shelters, so I ran to the next marshal to get her assistance, and that kind of was like a massive finishing effort that I put in halfway through the race, which I could have really done without. I then carried on and finished the race, but it was pretty hardcore trying to get those last 4 kilometres in. Thank God my mate Ian Connick, who's a phenomenal runner and has just got back into triathlon, which is worrying for us lot because he's super speedy, came and ran the last 500 metres with me, for which I'll be completely grateful for, despite the fact I can't actually remember any of it. Then Friday, Jackie's notorious for giving us horrendous sets after Prom Run. She gave us some kick set, but also an IM set. I love doing IM. I'm a terrible breaststroker because it's not great on my knee, but I do love doing fly. So whilst that was a really tough set to do, I did enjoy that. And then Saturday I did a really good 1.25 hours on the turbos. This was a really intense session in zone 4, so it was 3 sets of 8 1-minute efforts with 1-minute recovery in between in zone 4, so well above FTP, and that felt great to kind of get dug into that. And then yesterday on Sunday I went out and did a nice easy zone 1, zone 2 run for an hour, but unfortunately with all the new leaf fall that we're getting because we're heading into autumn, I slipped on some leaves and totally took a total flyer. I didn't really hurt myself more than my pride. Fortunately it was in like one of the covered areas near the seafront, but I just was utterly covered in mud and leaves and all sorts, and I couldn't get it off my legs and my arms and my jacket. But anyway, despite that I managed to carry on and get the hour done. So it's been a week of mixture of intensity and kind of low intensity, which is kind of what training should be made up of anyway. So one big turbo session and obviously the Prom Run, which was a massive effort to kind of do, which was resulted in quite a high TSS score for this week, considering I only did just under 7.5 hours. I did a TSS of 570, which is pretty high for that many hours, and that's because of the intensity. So to break that down really, that comes in at just over 2.5 hours of running, just under an hour and a quarter of swimming, and just over 3.5 hours of bike riding. The bike and the run I'm pretty happy with at the minute, but it's the swimming that I need to make sure I get back the intensity of. I'm back at university next week, so hopefully I'll be able to get back into a routine and get that 3rd or 4th swim in, because all of that swim training that I put all that effort into during the summer to become a good swimmer is kind of maybe just lacking a little bit at the moment. Speaking of the autumn, my mind turns to what I'm going to do over the autumn, and I think that one of the things I'm going to focus on trying to do is actually enter some standalone swimming events. I've never done a standalone masters swimming event. I've done loads of bike racing, loads of running races, but never done anything swimming related. So that's something I'm going to investigate. And also cyclocross is something that I have a deep love of. I'm terrible at it, but I have a deep love of it. So in the races that I have done, not last season, but the season before that, I didn't come out of the bottom 3. I'm that bad at it. My bike handling is not great, but I do really enjoy it, and it's great for those intensive efforts, and it keeps you racing through the winter. So I'm going to look and see with my local club whether I can actually do some of those efforts. We've got a local course, and there's a really active cyclocross scene in my club. So I'm going to get out on our local training course and just see if my knee can handle that and maybe enter that. So that's the plan over the next week, is try and look into some swimming events, see if I'm up to doing some cyclocross, and going from there. But that's this week, and I will see you on the next one.